Hey everybody, it's Wick here, and I wanted to make a video about my sales for this year. I get asked all the time, how much, like, what are my sales numbers? And it's something I've never shared before because, quite frankly, it's private, so I didn't necessarily want to share it. But with me being asked all the time, and I did hit my goal, and I am proud of my goal, so I wanted to make this video. Um, you can see I broke 100,000 sales this year, so that's awesome. That was my goal, is to have 100,000 in sales. You can see the date here is November 22nd, the time of recording this. So a couple of weeks ago, I broke the 100,000. So I was very happy that that happened. Last year, I did $82,658.12. My goal last year was 50,000. So I crushed that. And when I seen how close I came to 100, I thought to myself, well, if I would have just put in, more effort, I could easily hit 100,000. And, when I started reselling, 3-4 years ago, telling me I'd have 100,000 in sales, I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy. But really, the reality of it is that's 105,000 there in sales. That's not profit. So usually, based on the last few years of reselling, you can cut that in half, and usually it's a little bit less than half is your total profit. So I would say about $40,000 to $50,000 will be profit. Now I have to do all the taxes and figure out all my expenses and all that, but based on the past few years, that's what it's going to be. Let's just go over some of this and kind of see. Here you have this year in January, $4,887 compared to last year, which was $2,361. January is always bad. But you can see from there, it's just gone up. See, we had February was 7,000 this year, so that's just crazy compared to last year's 4,000. Because January, I'm not doing a lot of sourcing, and then I start picking up in February, try to get those Christmas clearance deals, and start bringing in the sales. But look at March, like, I broke $10,000 in March. That was just crazy. I think that was the first time ever, almost 100%. Yeah, first time I broke 10,000. So that was a personal goal of mine. And then another 10,000 a month, and then $12,744 in May, which was good. And June and July fell down. I got 6,542. I slacked off a little bit, mostly not necessarily buying, but just shipping stuff out. I was just in a sourcing mood and not really a prepping mood. And then 12,000 again, and it's just been going up. 11,000. Then I have my best month ever in October, 12,933. So and then November, I'm already up 8,000 some dollars. But I'm running out of inventory. Stuff sells so quick. Last year, December was only 11,000. So we'll see. I'm expecting maybe with like eBay sales as well, maybe to make $125,000 in total sales reselling this year. So not bad. I know people's going to ask, what are you selling? Like, what are you selling to make this much money? Everything. Like literally everything. I go to thrift stores, garage sales. I do retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. I buy stuff locally off Facebook. Do a little bit of wholesale, a little bit of private label. It's just everything. Everything I can find to make money. I'm buying it and sending it to Amazon. Most of the stuff I sell, I always try to at least double my money on. So if I'm spending $10 on an item, I want to make at least $10 profit after all the fees. But normally, like with thrifting and stuff, you're buying stuff for $1 and making 10, or $1 and making 50. So it's really hard to gauge how much like profit's going to be, because I literally have to go through my Excel sheet and match up my numbers for taxes. And I'm not going to really talk about taxes or how I do it because I'm not a tax professional. I'm not trying to give any advice or mislead anybody. But what I do is just match up what I paid for each item I sold and all my expenses, and then just throw it into the tax program, and that's pretty much it. So, let's look at categories here. You can see electronics is basically my go-to. I started selling a lot more used electronics, and that definitely boosted sales. Home improvement, that's a little bit surprising, but I do source at like Lowe's and Home Depot, Menards, and places like that a lot. Health and personal care, lawn and garden, toys, honestly is not that high. I do not like sourcing toys. They always seem really oversaturated, and I just, I don't like it. I don't know. It just seems like I don't make that much money on toys, and it shows here. Here, let me do top 10 here. Like, look at, yeah, books are not even in the top 10. Video games are not even in the top 10. And if you want to do these kind of numbers, one of the best tips I can give you is you got to not just sell in one category. If you're only buying toys, or you're only buying video games or CDs, you can do well just picking one thing and sourcing from one place, but literally you have to branch out and try to learn more about everything. And the best way that, I do that, I watch YouTube videos of other resellers and learn what they're reselling and just try to branch out. I don't sell a lot of clothing. Well, that's also on eBay. I wouldn't be selling it on Amazon, which I'll show you my eBay numbers in a minute. They're definitely not impressive. But, if you're focusing just on clothing and you're going to, say, 10 Goodwills, you may find a great income doing that. But while you're there and spending your time, you could check the electronics or check the video games, check the books, and all of a sudden you're making, maybe up to 5 times more money. And with Amazon, if you're doing FBA, there's hardly any work to it. You can sell, I shouldn't say there's hardly any work, there's a ton of work. But what I mean is you can sell higher volume without as much work. Like, you can see here, I've sold 2,000 and some items. And listing 2,000 and some items on eBay is a lot more time consuming than putting a label on them and cleaning them up, send them to Amazon or whatever you have to do. So you can definitely scale up. If you're fortunate enough to have enough money to do wholesale, I find that's one of the best ways to go. That's really hard to get into. Don't let all these super big YouTube people out there tell you how easy it is, buy my course and then I'll, get into wholesale. Like, if you don't have the money and the space and the time, it can be very hard to get into wholesale. You can definitely dip your toe in it a little bit, but you're going to want to have good capital if you're going to go that route, and it's a lot more risk, so be prepared for all of that. Another tip I can give you is time management based on the profit you're going to make from using your time. Time is money. Heard that before, and it's very true. If you're buying 100 items to list on eBay where you're only making around $5, you're spending probably close to 20, 30 hours to make like $500, where if you send in 100 items to FBA that you don't have to really list or prep that much, you can make that $500 in like an hour or two. So definitely time management. I'm not saying people do great. Like, look, if I can list 4 or 5 items on eBay and make $5 a piece on them, that's still like $20, $25 for my hours spent that I'm going to end up making. That's not bad. So that's a good wage, and people doing that, you can definitely find more things at thrift stores to make $5 than you can 10, 20, or 30. But me personally, I have to make at least $10 on something I'm selling on eBay. Amazon, I'm happy with making $2 or $3 on some item if I'm paying less and I know it's going to sell, and I just put a label on it and throw it in a box. So let me hop over here to my eBay sales. This is my Excel sheet. Every time something sells on eBay, what it's sold for, shipping, eBay fees, cost, everything like that. It's a lot easier to manage because I don't sell, 300 items a month on eBay. In fact, I've only sold, looks like 116. Now, I didn't start selling on eBay this year until July. So it's only been a few months, but you can see how much I've made. My total profit after all shipping and fees and everything, $2,131.19. That's from July, August, September, October, November. November's not even over. So about 4.5 months. And I haven't listed anything on eBay for a month or two. I spend my time mostly sourcing for Amazon and dealing with that. And I would love to get an employee to do my eBay side of things because I don't spend a lot of time, even though it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth selling on eBay. I'm not trying to make a point that Amazon's better. Like, both of them can be very profitable. But you see, back into the bank, from what I spent and stuff, $3,497. So definitely not bad on eBay either. So that's about all I got, I guess, for this video. I guess my goal next year, I'm thinking I'm just going to set my goal for $100,000 again. It's a bit of a cop-out, but what I want to do is find more automatic inventory, stuff that I can replenish and know it's coming in, such as, maybe some grocery items I can just go to the grocery store and buy, or retail store items, or wholesale, or private label, all that kind of stuff. More automatic inventory I want to focus on. Because there's also other parts of my business I want to work on, because I do Amazon merch, and I do some affiliate marketing, and I do stock trading, stuff like that. So there's all kinds of things I want to use my time for, and if I have more automated product to sell, I can still be bringing in decent money, and I can then focus on these other business ventures, and then I don't feel like I need to spend my time out constantly sourcing to make sure I make my goal of 150,000 or whatever. So that's kind of the plan for next year. So to reiterate my tips, if you want to make $100,000 in sales on Amazon, you're going to have to source everywhere. You can't just pick, your local Goodwill and expect to make $100,000. You need to go to, dozens of Goodwills every week. You need to source online, retail arbitrage. You need to have capital to spend on this stuff. If you find a clearance product where you need to dump $1,000 into it and save it until, next Halloween or next Christmas, you need to be able to do that, because that's where a lot of my sales come from. I buy out 75-90% off clearance Christmas and then resell it the following year. So you need a place to store that stuff. There's all kinds of factors. I'm selling, my rooms have a bedroom. I'm renting a garage. I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. You just have to dedicate yourself to it. You really have to have a drive. You gotta want to do it. You gotta enjoy doing it, because you are going to be spending a lot of time sourcing and thinking about it. So definitely source everywhere. You really have to manage your time. I'm not putting in, 100 hours a week doing this, but I do put in a significant amount of time. And you don't want to spend your time buying something that you have to spend 3 hours to clean up and prep and everything just to make like $10. If you're spending 3 to 4 hours of work to make $10 on something, it's just not worth it. You just really got to think like that. You need to figure out ways to do things automatically. Something I need to improve are my inventory and tax things. I know people use Inventory Lab. I've tried it. It just does not work for me the way I sell and I need to do stuff. And I guess most importantly, you just really, really do have to focus and make it a part of your life. But that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to share my sales data this year, and the year's not even over. The busiest month is still ahead of us. So maybe I'll make an update video just to see how I do. I expect not to do that well, honestly, because I just don't have that much stuff left to sell. We'll see though. Hopefully all my back inventory gets pulled out. But I do want to thank everybody who keeps watching the videos, who has subscribed. If you want to follow me on my reselling adventure from now on, and this is the first time seeing the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I like to share what I find thrifting and useful information. But this has been Wick. Until next time.